Rene question. Issue 105.
Yeah.
If we find out that Stormfront is actually Homelander's mama, do you think that would make him more messed up, or do you think he'd be in the loop?
I think knowing how The Boys is going, he would probably whack off to it.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so. He's that weird now. Like, I mean, he was willing to suck milk from the tap of a cow.
That's a weird scene. A better question. Would you be into it?
No.
I don't know. I sense a little
Sense
hesitation.
nothing.
There's a hesitation
There's
there.
no hesitation. There was like a half a second to reply to that.
That was the hesitation, half a second.
Half a second was the
Should have
hesitation.
been less than that.
Just
Before
immediate.
Before the question came back, should have been like, go!
Well, just like this last episode of The Boys wrapped up this season, I think it's time to wrap up this intro and start the show, no?
Yes, let's go.
All right. Yeah.
Walking to nowhere.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 105. My name is Rene.
This is Bryan.
And welcome to the show. Woo! 105.
Why do you say? Why don't you go like, and Nick? Say it. Say it with pride. I didn't yell at you last time. I told you to speak up more. Nick. No.
Now I have my friends to protect me.
A boundary of friends.
Boundary of
Little
friends.
pop figures. Can you
These are-
name your friends?
Mordo?
Mordo.
Mordo, stop!
He's drunk.
Yeah, drunk already, I see. Mexican Wong.
Oh my god.
Hey,
fool.
I'm the Sorcerer Supreme.
Orderly. Tell me, does this look like Mexican Wong? I'm just
For our
saying.
audio,
supposed to-
our audio listeners,
You're
it's
supposed
a
to
pop
be
of wine.
bow down
Yeah.
in front of the Sorcerer
And then-
Supreme.
See, they have respect. And then I got my Doctor Strange.
That's the from the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's the Illuminati.
Stop,
The
dude.
Illuminati.
No,
Do you
multiverse of
remember-
madness.
And then I got the bull guy that I don't know his name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know his name?
I have Bullman.
You got Bullman, Green Bullman.
You have a
man.
computer in front of you. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't
Yeah,
want it.
and the movie's out. now.
Listen. If I don't know his name, obviously it didn't matter.
Surprise! You know what? I have friends that have not seen Doctor Strange yet.
And then they're like,
Really?
and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, dude, the coolest character? It's got to be the bull, right? The bull looks sick.
The bull. Everyone knows the bull,
They
right?
were
You know
heavily
his name.
advertising the bull.
Yeah, right.
They were really
Yeah.
heavy.
Was he the
advertising.
villain?
Honestly, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, he looks
Before we kick off
Yeah.
into our comic strips portion of the podcast of the issue, quick reminder, guys, you guys can find us on keepingupwiththenerd.com for all the up-to-date information. If you are listening to us on audio platforms,
Just
go
stop.
find us on our
I'm
YouTube
just
channel.
trying to put
I am advertising the show, Nick.
I was just
Hold
trying
on
to
to your
move him out of
buddies,
the way.
please.
I was trying to move him out of the way. It's not
Jesus.
my fault you had him drunk before the podcast.
Find us on YouTube, Keeping Up with the Nerds, if you guys want to see us visually in all our glory, and Nick fumbling around with the pops and things that he usually always has something. They always have something in front of you. Always a distraction.
I find something inside of the room.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Audio, go find us wherever you guys listen to your podcast. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you guys enjoy us, rate us 5 stars. Please let us know. YouTube, subscribe, ring that bell, hit that notification button.
Yes.
Follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well.
And don't forget our Brethren podcast.
Our Real Addiction. They release podcasts Thursdays, the
Yes.
day afterwards. I'm getting on Adam's case because they're
I
not
like how you're saying
releasing it
this on it.
consistently.
Yeah.
He needs to know. I've been on his case.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to release them at a specific time. We come out every Wednesdays at 11:30. Consistency.
Yeah.
We need to get on them. Get on them too. You guys listen to them.
All right, we'll step on them.
You just see
You
Nick,
can step on them.
You just see
Down.
Nick outside Adam's house. He's just like, "Have you uploaded it yet?"
Nick,
How about
our
that
HR
video
rep.
podcast?
Stalking.
They release next week.
A video podcast?
I don't know if he's going to be ready for it. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll talk about it after.
But why should we be looking forward to Our Real Addiction? Because they have a big guest coming on the show within the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Can't say much because that's theirs to
yeah.
announce, but do look forward to them because there's some
Brian,
big stuff coming out.
The guest isn't you, right?
No, it's not
you're
me.
Okay.
No, I was
No,
on
you're not-
last
They
week.
got
You're
like
not-
the biggest guest they'll
No.
ever have.
Yeah.
For the fourth time.
Me because I'm working. No, I'm just kidding.
Now come see me again
For the third time.
on my other podcast.
How many times have you been on there?
0.
Dude, 0. They're afraid of me.
Yeah.
They're
You're gonna
afraid.
spill truth all over the place.
Yeah. Be like all
Call
pew,
them out on
be
that.
like pew 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 pew.
You're proud of that, aren't you?
Truth bombs. What?
You guys want to get into the comic strips?
Yes.
I'll ask again. Do you want to get into the comic strips?
No.
No.
I thought you were going to say yes.
Comic strips!
Comic strip.
Solidarity.
For our newer listeners, comic strips is a small portion of the issue where we talk about the news and bits and pieces that have come out over the week.
Yeah.
And we really don't want to spend too much time on. We just kind of give it a little bit of an announcement. Then we take one of those subjects, talk about it in depth for a little bit, move on to the main topics because we do have some pretty big topics for you guys.
super big.
We finally talk about the boys.
Yes.
And we're talking about Thor, Love, and Thunder. So, spoiler alert after comic strips, because we are going to be talking about and spoiling Thor, Love, and Thunder.
Yes.
We will give you a warning.
We'll remind you again when we get there.
Yes. All right. We ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Taika Waititi calls out people basically obsessing over the Kate Bush song after Stranger Things popularized it.
Interesting.
It's just a good song.
It's a good song. Calls it out. But in that little interview that did come out, he did mention that Christian Bale did record, or they did film a scene where he was dancing to a Kate Bush song
Yeah.
that will never be used in the movie. But it was a different Kate Bush song.
I would like to see it in the deleted scenes.
It would be interesting.
I just want to see it because honestly, we'll get into it later. I really enjoyed Christian Bale.
It was, yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale was dope.
Yeah, he was really good. That's a little piece of information. Second piece, Captain America 4 finally gets its director under Julius Onaha, I believe is how his name is pronounced. If you don't know who he is, he did direct Cloverfield Paradox, which is that Netflix movie that did come out that supposedly is connected to Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's the okay Cloverfield.
It's the okay one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So Chris Evans gets the Russo brothers, and you
And
get
Joe-
the
Joe
and then
Johnson.
and then you yeah they and then all of, and you know Sam Wilson gets the guy who made the okay Cloverfield.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. You know, people turn things around, so we'll see. In other news, some people's hero, Elon Musk, terminates the $44 billion deal that was supposed to buy Twitter.
Uh-huh.
But, update, Twitter is now suing Elon Musk.
Yep.
So, plot twist under plot twist.
What are they suing him for?
I don't know. Well, for basically lying, because what he does have stock in there in Twitter. So by essentially saying that he was going to buy Twitter, I think stocks raised or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
So
he inflated the price.
basically, yeah, he manipulated it. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And honestly, it doesn't matter.
You
But it's a
can't-
little piece of
You
information.
can't prove that.
Yeah, exactly. Sadder news. Kazuki Takahashi passes away at the age of 60. If you guys don't know who he is, he's the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Created the manga.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Created the anime and the card game, the popular card game that a lot of people grew up with. So
Yeah.
there's not enough information on what has happened to him. All we know is that they found him out at sea, and there's
Shadiest way to pass.
that they found him out in sea,
They
rental
found his
car.
Car was out on the shore,
Uh-huh.
and they found like marine creatures were markings on him, like bites and stuff like that. But they haven't disclosed what was the cause of death.
Yeah. It's some sad bit of news.
It was a Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Stop.
Why does that bother
dude.
you?
Because it's
love
such
the-
a sad thing to
Dude,
do.
I
You
love
don't say that.
I love the idea that I now know you don't pay attention to things I say because you said, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah," and then you kept going and went, "Wait a minute, hold on, no."
Because I was ready to move on.
It took some
Last
time
week,
to register.
Because last
You
week
just- you
I
just-
told you we're not talking about Umbrella Academy, and you snuck that in. You need to
Because
stop.
I'm a genius. That's
Dude,
why
I'm trying to run a production. This is a full-on production where we're going live.
Went smooth though. I snuck that Umbrella Academy one.
God,
Really
dude.
smooth.
Okay, moving on to the next bit of information.
Smooth.
Minions Rise of Gru breaks box office records and makes $125 million opening weekend. We don't know what the projection is for this weekend coming up or the weekend that just passed if you're listening to this on Wednesday. But it's projected to essentially go down. Some people are kind of figuring out why exactly it didn't make that much money, and the speculation is it's because of the rich Minions meme that's going around TikTok. You guys didn't know about it.
No,
Dude,
but I've just looked at the Rotten Tomato score. It's a 90 on the audience and a 73 on the tomato.
I mean, it's a kid's movie.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Understand.
It's this younger generation, you know, the ones that are the 16, 17-year-olds.
When did
The first
Despicable
Minions?
Me? No, Despicable Me. That's the thing.
Despicable Me was a good movie. It was a good movie. While you look that up, last bit of information, or actually second to last piece of information, Upside Down Pictures gets announced, which is a production studio by the Duffer Brothers. With that, Stranger Things spin-off, 2 of them are announced. One of them that is going to revolve around the lore of the original concept, the lore of the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
Second bit is going to be a story of the original idea that the Duffer Brothers had regarding Stranger Things. They're also working on another kind of like play little thing, a different script that's being worked on someone else. The Talisman Project as well, the Stephen King and Peter Straub book that, according to Adam, was teased at the end of the last episode of Stranger Things because it's the book that Lucas reads Max while she's in a coma.
Okay.
I'm like, that's a cool piece of information. And Death Note live action remake or live action show is being produced under that studio as well. Yes, Netflix already did that, but it's being produced under this production company.
Because they saw what happened.
Exactly. So they're
I
like, we
just
can do
hope they
better.
have William Dafoe come back because he was a great.
As what?
Yeah, as what's his name?
As the demon?
Yeah, he did a great voice work.
Willem Dafoe is dope for anything.
Yeah.
I'm always more for. I'm always under the thing of more Dafoe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Netflix really.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix.
The
really
movie itself,
pooped
though,
like screw the pooch
Under
on
the
that one,
Duffer Brothers would be interesting. With that piece of information also came out the bits in an interview where the Duffer Brothers have said that they have not started writing Stranger Things 5. It probably won't happen until next month, with filming starting next year, meaning that, according to them, depending on who you ask, the projected date for Stranger Things 5 is going to be either 2024 or 2025.
That makes sense.
Which kind of goes along with what I said. You should have waited another year to release more Stranger Things stuff because that way it's going to be very long for another season.
Yeah.
3 years ish, right? Yeah.
Well, I see them splitting it up like they did this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see like little tiny things though.
Yeah.
Like the Adventures of Dustin.
Sure. That could be a spinoff. Last bit of information, James Cameron calls out its audience who are making fun of the original Avatar and calls out people complaining about a possible super long length of a movie because this movie is supposedly rumored to come out at 2 hours and 46 minutes. Yeah. He's calling out everyone, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for comic strips. Does anyone want to take on any bit of information and kind of expand on it a little bit?
So I will say about the writing part of Stranger Things Season 5. It hasn't started yet. I saw a TikTok that someone did some digging in the D&D lore about Vecna. And they said that Vecna usually is a general or a lieutenant.
Yes.
And it's a vampire. And it's someone that has tattooed bats on them and stuff like that. And they became a vampire through being infected through bats as well, too.
Okay.
They're saying that that's what's going to happen to Eddie because he's in the Upside Down and he was killed by bats. He's going to come back as like some sort of undead creature.
That actually would be sick.
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
That would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that.
Dead?
He's not dead, but he comes back as a
because
undead.
he was left in the Upside Down.
Yeah, his body was left there, yeah.
Technically, Vecna, I guess, could
bring him back.
That'd be kind of sick.
What's interesting is that Stranger Things technically haven't brought back any characters that they've killed off. So if they do bring back a character, that'd be an interesting concept.
Well, not only that, but also if you were to bring back Eddie, a fan favorite, and you make him a villain, you know, people really loved him. And it would be so hard for the cast. It would be so hard for Dustin and Lucas and everybody else that knew Eddie and really loved him to then have this moment of like, we have to kill Eddie. Like that's the only way to get to Vecna. We have to kill Eddie. So that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I want it.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
thought that was interesting.
Do you think that any of this writing is going to affect how they? Because we mentioned it in issue 104.
Yeah.
How they're going back and basically re-editing seasons 1 and 2 and kind of like putting in some pieces that are filling in like little plot holes and stuff.
So what I think is that a lot of people are kind of finding those when they're rewatching it. When Will is running around and he's being scared by the Demogorgon in his house when he comes back home from playing D&D, there is a shadow figure of Vecna in the like street when he's running around and stuff like that.
Oh, they added that?
They added that, and then they added the clock chimes 4 times, and I think that's what they're meant.
So people are looking for them.
So they are looking for them, and that was
That's
one of
interesting.
them. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so basically they want Vecna to be relevant throughout the series.
Okay.
So
I like
that way
that.
it doesn't
I like that
feel
idea.
like what they did was just wrote him in the final in the season 4.
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah, no, but it's
I'm
No,
fine.
it's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me though is that a lot of Stranger Things fans have come out and said like, "Oh yeah, no, this entire show was already written from the start.
No.
It was already written
No.
from
It
the start."
Wasn't. No.
I would want them to come out and be like, it was outlined from the start. Because regardless of it, it doesn't matter if it was written from the start or outlined. Cool, they had an idea and they're going with it, and it's such a great show.
And plus, it's
nothing wrong with it.
It's normal to start a show with a general idea, but then change it last minute because you feel the way you're writing the show and how the fans are reacting to it, and you hear the feedback and you hear what's liked. Like originally, they were gonna kill off Steve in season 1, but they wrote in a last minute change up for his character to kind of like, well, we can do it this way, and it was the smartest idea because Steve is like the best character. in
Yeah.
Stranger
He's a
Things.
solid character, man. He's a solid character. I think Netflix, especially how young it was when Stranger Things actually did come out.
Yeah.
Because Stranger Things was one of its big ones. It was
Yeah,
one-
that was
It was its first successful child.
it's its first success story.
Because they were putting out some series which, like, it was like they were just kind of like
flops.
throwing
Actually,
stuff
take that
out.
back. House of Cards was its first success story.
That's true.
That's true, but also we still watch Stranger Things.
Stranger Things became more ingrained into pulp culture.
Yes, it was more palatable for a bigger audience.
Yes.
That's
Not
what it
everyone
was.
can watch House of Cards.
Exactly.
I loved House of Cards. House of Cards was dope.
I haven't watched
I have yet to
it. I
watch
watched
it.
like the first
Really?
episode. And it
Yeah,
was
we should
good.
probably watch
I just
it.
never took
It's pretty good. If you don't like political thrillers, then you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, whatever.
I like-
Did you like The West Wing
I've never seen it.
or like Designated Survivor?
Never seen it.
Okay, well,
Designated Survivor is good. Actually.
Designated Survivor's sick.
Yeah, it has Kiefer Sutherland in
Yeah.
that one.
Kiefer?
Kiefer.
Yeah,
Kiefer
Jack
son.
Bauer's president. Sick.
That's pretty cool. Nick, any story that caught your interest?
Not really, actually.
None?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I didn't care about any
That's
of them.
fine.
That's fair.
None of them were like, oh yeah, that's
Oh,
so
that seems interesting to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's super interesting to talk about. Like honestly, like it really sucks that like so many people died. Like that sucks.
Oh, who else passed away? It was announced today as well. He was in
James Caan.
James Caan.
James Caan also died from what was it, from The Godfather, which is tragic, but also he was old. I mean,
I'm trying to think of a movie that I
lived
liked.
a really long.
that he was-
The
oh,
Godfather?
No, well that and I liked Misery.
Yeah,
He was great in Misery.
But what was it? So I mean, it's I mean the Stranger Things one is pretty cool, but that's about it.
All right.
I don't really care.
Well, I will say this: the James Cameron piece of information.
No one cares.
No. Well, yeah.
It's James
but-
Cameron, dude. James
but
Cameron has his head so far up his own butt.
That's
who
true.
Cares?
If you let me finish, I could say we talked about it at Our Real Addiction, because it was
Did
a
we?
piece. Yeah, I did because I was on there
I've never been.
as a last minute guest.
Our Real
way you
Addiction
said
is
that.
like a myth. It's like a myth to me. I've never seen it.
Well, because you've never been.
It's like
You've never been, Nick.
they're a myth.
I've had to touch it, feel it, and see it to know it exists.
I do, and I haven't seen it. I don't even know what they look like.
Why are you so mean to them?
I still think Miguel is a fake person. I know.
Oh yeah, he's never met Miguel. Huh?
I've never-
Oh, you never
I've
did.
never met.
Yeah.
I've never met
Oh
Miguel.
my God.
Miguel is a photoshopped person.
I met Miguel, and he came in on Free Comic Book Day, and that's the first
Yeah.
time I've met him, and only time I've met
Gotcha.
him so far.
Yeah. Once again, he's an actor. that Adam.
Character.
He's an actor that Adam hired.
I was gonna say for all we know,
Photoshop.
it's Adam. It's just
Adam.
It's Adam himself
Yeah.
playing as two different people.
Yeah.
We discussed the James Cameron bit at Our oil addiction. That issue or that episode came out last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because we did talk about a little bit about James Cameron's
just
successes and stuff.
Just to reiterate, what are some bigger points,
about James Cameron? Well, basically the idea is that we kind of debated if James Cameron has the right to basically say what he does, and we all know that he's only saying this to basically bring him publicity for Avatar 2. That's about it, but we kind of expanded a little bit more in his successes and what he's done, what he's directed, what he's produced, what he's done for the industry, so on and so forth. I do want to get to the topic I do want to talk about, though, just a little bit, which is the Taika Waititi interview that basically called out people for the Kate Bush song.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why is because there's two parts to it. One of it is, unless you really know how Waititi or Taika interviews, you don't really know that there's sarcasm behind his quotes.
So much sarcasm in this thing.
Honestly, he'll say just random stuff, and he uses other people will just take it as like, what? And he's like, I'm joking.
He's not a great director, guys. He's not so good. I'm like, dude, the guy's a fun dude to basically interview. Everyone who's seen him has basically seen.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like a lot of the times when I'm watching his things, he's just like, man, this is a thing I gotta do.
He's just
he's
all over the place.
Like he's all over the place, and he's very sarcastic. He's giving a lot of fake answers.
He has my type of energy where he even said in an interview when he does voices, they ask him to do other accents, and he can't. So he just does it in his accent.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think it was the Variety.
He just talks.
Is it Variety where they do the whole bit where they tear apart a scene and he has to write on so he did that one with Jojo Rabbit, and he was discussing the scene where the Gestapo goes into the house for the first time. If you guys have not seen Jojo Rabbit, great movie. The Gestapo goes into the house for the first time. What?
It's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, but it's a great movie.
I just think it's I love that movie so much because I remember watching it for the first time and then having somebody walk in and just seeing Taika Waititi dressed up as him.
It's great unless you know who he
is.
That's
like Mandy's favorite Taika movie.
No, but it's so funny just to have somebody go, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "I'm watching a movie about a boy whose invisible friend is Hitler."
It's great.
Like,
great concept.
Yeah.
What?
I love when the Gestapo comes in and everyone's like, "Hi Hitler, hi Hitler, hi Hitler, hi Hitler."
So that scene, you know how who I think one of the actors in that scene is shorter than the other person.
Okay.
So he was basically talking about how he had framed that scene where there was like a height difference.
Yeah.
And they asked him like, "Why did you do it this way?" He's like, "Because I could."
Yeah.
That's it. That's his style.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? But moving from that, the reason why that interview was so interesting to me was because Metallica has kind of taken advantage of the success that they've kind of, or this not success, but like the attention that they've gotten again because of Master of Puppets.
Oh yeah.
To the point where, look, if you know Metallica now, you know that they're kind of dicks.
Yeah.
Because they just, they copy strike anyone that uses any bit of music.
Definitely.
Right? Like basically, like they're on.
That's
top
why.
Of that.
That's why I was shocked when you watched the last episode of Stranger Things that it was a Metallica song.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows it. I'm not gonna do it because somewhere out there, Lars is like, what?
I know. Yeah.
Stop! Don't do that.
Meow meow. There you go.
Meow 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 meow.
Meow 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 meow.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Meow meow.
But
rock out, man.
Did you see the TikTok or Metallica's TikTok?
I saw it. Yeah.
And I'm just
they're
like,
wearing Hellfire Club shirts,
which is great.
Really?
Yeah, they are. I'm not gonna lie.
They got together in the sound studio and they're mimicking like the song playing in the background, and each one of them is wearing a Hellfire Club shirt.
Dude, they must have loved it.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
I think
for Metallica, I feel like, but I actually really do like the idea. Okay, do they copy strike a lot of things?
They
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Yes.
Are they very protective of their music?
Yes.
Yes.
But I like that because when it pops out, it's gonna be really cool, and it's also very surprising
That's true.
to hear a song.
It's like the Beatles.
Yeah,
Right? 'Cause,
where
like, the
it's
Beatles is
super
so-
protected.
That's the thing.
It's so
Yeah.
protected, and it's only used when the script is like so good, and it would really fit that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention it's the perfect song too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Master of Puppets playing in the upside down.
The song
Against-
intro
against
starts.
a
You already
puppet
know what it
master?
is.
Yeah.
You already know, like right off the bat, what song it is. You're like, dude, yes.
Yeah, it's sick.
I got to wrap up this because we do have to talk about our big topics and we're running out of time. Great. It's awesome to see him get hyped up about it because, I've listened to Metallica since middle school. So it's cool to see it. But it is interesting to see a different side that's not so aggressive with their music, and they're more open.
Very laid back.
Yeah, which is interesting. So with that said, that's the end of the comic strip segment. Can we move on to Thor: Love and Thunder, one of the biggest topics of this week? Ladies and gentlemen, when we move on to this, first warning, we are going to spoil this movie. So if you have not seen it, this is a part of the podcast where you pause it, watch it, then you come back and you can hear us talk about it and explore all the different avenues and all the little crevices and stuff, and then as we tear it apart. And
if not, just click this time code.
I'm not clicking. I'm not putting anything. No, I'm not editing that. No, stop making me do things, Nick.
I would say maybe like the hour mark.
Sure.
Just I was trying to make it easy for the viewer, but
I'll put. You know what? I'll do a little bit where it because YouTube actually does that. I'll put a timestamp. How about that? Yeah. I'll do it. That's fine. Yeah. That's fair. Don't make me put things in the actual video. No, Nick.
Timestamp.
No. First warning. Thor: Love and Thunder. Did we love the movie?
Yes.
Is that? I'm just playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I love that movie.
So I will say this:
I just saw your face. I'm like, what?
So
you were
customers.
so amazed.
So I've had customers that come in and seen it already and stuff like that. Yeah. I had one particular customer that said this. And I asked him. I go, "Did you enjoy Love and Thunder?" He goes, "If you turn off your brain and watch the movie, you will like it." And I go, "Interesting. Why did you think that?" Because I personally like this movie, and I'll say it right now. Again, this is my opinion that I like this movie more than Ragnarok. I do. I thoroughly enjoyed it more than Ragnarok.
Okay.
And then he was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh, I told him it's because they wrote Jane Foster very well. They made her likable, and that Christian Bale obviously is a gimme, great." And it ended in such a way that's like it's not a tragic ending. It's very
uplifting.
Yeah,
it's
uplifting.
Very
and you're happy
ending.
for Thor. That's the thing.
Also, it's one of the first times that a villain found redemption at the end.
Yeah,
and more or less,
and not killed off.
And wasn't well.
Just abruptly killed off.
Thor didn't kill him.
Yeah. A hero didn't kill him.
Yeah, like a hero. Like it wasn't like, oh yeah, we defeated the bad guy. It was more of, no, he found a better purpose.
He chose love.
He chose love over hatred and revenge.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the minute that I saw that ending that was happening, I was like, that's genius.
Yeah.
I love it.
To add on to your point, right? And I don't agree with you. Mm-hmm. I respect your opinion, but I see why you do like this one better than Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. Because Ragnarok was the rebuilding of Thor as a character after Dark World was just like a complete flop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this movie was like, Thor is established, but we need to develop Valkyrie. We need to bring back Jane Foster and make her the interesting character that she was in the first two. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right? And we also need to introduce the new generation. Yeah. Axel being the biggest one because he is
Heimdall's son.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're trying to build up more characters. And so it's now you've laid out the foundation in Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. Love and Thunder is like you're putting up the skeleton of the house.
I just thought it was funny because the minute that they were like, "Oh, that's Heimdall's son," I was like, "When did Heimdall have a son?"
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, they just kind of threw that in there.
I was like, "When did Heimdall have a son?" But I was like, "Oh, all right, cool. Heimdall had a kid. All right, whatever."
But that brings us to this point. Mm-hmm. This movie was fast. Everything was moving fast because there was a point where they reached the they call it the Shadow Realm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a Shadow Realm.
Yeah, it was a Shadow Realm.
I was thinking,
You're welcome.
Circle.
Jesus.
It's a circle. It's not a triangle. It's a circle.
It's a square, not a square, because square has edges. It's like a
circle. It just continues.
They reached the Shadow Realm.
I love you so much. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yep. You guys are dumb.
No, we're great.
You guys are beautifully great.
Beautifully
dumb.
You just don't know
for a podcast, we're great.
You don't know what. You're just upset because you don't know.
All right, James Cameron's relaxed. All right, rubbing egos
that's
at
an
this
insult
point.
to me.
Hey, whoa.
I'm not about to tell you to be like, shut up and watch my 3-hour movie, okay?
Pay me money.
Remember the movie I made 13 years ago? It's still relevant.
It's still relevant.
Yeah, just letting you know, this movie it's only going to be in IMAX, not in a single other theater.
Oh, you're watching it in
only
peasant perspective?
Yeah.
No.
There's no other way to watch this movie.
$23 for a ticket? No.
All right, so back to Ragnarok.
So, it's interesting because there was a part in the movie where they get to the Shadow Realm and you're like, wait, this movie's almost over? Because this movie was quick.
Yeah.
It was quick.
And
it felt quick for a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah. I think moving forward now, like,
wait, was it 2 hours?
It was like 2 hours and it was less. It was less than 2 hours and 10.
It wasn't 2:30. It was
no.
It was like 2:20. 2:10.
So that's the thing. I feel like moving forward now, Marvel movies might have to be a little longer than 2 hours because at least to flesh out what you need to say.
2 hours or 2 parts.
Yeah, or
like
2 parts.
Infinity War and Endgame, right?
Oh, it's exactly 2 hours.
But there's nothing wrong with that length.
It's a little less than 2 hours.
Are we going to complain about the length?
Well, if you're talking about the pacing, if the pacing was a problem, then
I don't find a problem with it.
Honestly,
I like it because you cut the fat.
Yeah,
that's true.
It does feel like there was a lot of fat cut out of that movie.
Yeah.
I feel though like I got what I needed within the 2 hours. I mean, any more, it would have been great. I mean, it would have been just better. That's the thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, final spoiler warning. We're going deep into it. We're going to be talking about the ending. We're going to be talking about the reveals. This is it. If you have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder, we warned you 3 times. There's no complaining. I do not want to see it in the comment section. Actually, you know what? Go ahead. Comment down below in the YouTube section. All right? Go ahead and comment.
I'll put
Tell
it to
us.
this timestamp.
No.
No, in the comment.
Leave your complaints right here.
No, in the comment, I'm just gonna put look at timestamp.
Go
Go
ahead and
Lewis. Lewis.
Why are you calling him out?
Because the last time I went over his house for his son's baby shower, he yelled at me for like 35 minutes.
For what?
About how like we spoiled something for him, and I go, dude, we said that there was a
Yeah,
spoiler.
we said there's
What
a
did we
spoiler.
spoil?
I forget.
Was it Halo?
I think no. It was something else. I don't even
If it was
remember.
Halo, it's like
Lightyear?
we saved you.
I honestly don't even remember.
Okay.
He said Doctor Strange? Maybe,
Oh, maybe that
We
could've
warned
been
people.
No.
So I told him, I go, we warned you, and then he was like, yeah, but like I was listening to it, and
But I
like,
wasn't
was doing
listening to
stuff, like I was doing stuff around the house. and,
Hey,
you know, I was in the
Lewis, take
Hey,
your earbuds.
also,
All right? Earbuds.
Also, Lewis did reveal to me that he listens to us in the shower. That's how he
Lewis, you missed a
ingests-
spot. No, not there.
That's how he
Under
ingests-
that.
That's how he ingests our podcast, and his girlfriend finds him weird because because he has the speaker for the shower.
What's his girlfriend's name?
Nicole.
We know. We just found out right now.
So he's like, Lewis, the baby's crying. So anyway,
You're taking a long shower, man. Come on.
hurry up. There's only one shower in this house. So anyway, no, the reason I was saying that is because the speaker's in there, so nobody else can hear what's going on in the house. So she thinks he's insane because he's laughing in the shower.
You know what? Lewis thinks he's smart. He's actually listening to us in his car right now.
Right, yeah.
Right now,
the
yeah.
day he decides that, yeah, he's gonna
He's
be
in his
the
car.
Lewis. Yeah, he's in his car.
It's a
It was a bit, Lewis. We know where you're
You
at.
ruined it now.
Told you to be in the shower. Now
You
you're in the
ruined
car.
it, Lewis.
Really? Come on.
God. It was funny as hell. My bit.
it's a great bit for just Lewis.
For just I know. Our listeners are just like, what the heck?
And only Lewis is gonna find that hilarious.
Gotta have him back on. Can we have him back on?
Yes, let's have it back on.
You know what's he doesn't have a newborn.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yes.
Hey, Lewis, your newborn's crying.
Yeah.
Spoiler. That's it. No more warnings.
Spoiler.
Done. Can we talk about Thor: Love and Thunder and actual spoilers and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. It is 100%. So here's the
Just
interesting.
get it out of the way.
Yeah, just get out of the
Jane
way.
dies.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it like basically from the very start we knew her fate.
Yeah.
Right.
For in the comics, because I know that in the comics, every single time that she turns into Thor, it replenishes her life. But
Yes.
but because she was like that when she comes out of the Thor, all the chemo is out of her, so she gets like way sicker.
Yeah.
So this is very
Well,
authentic
it takes
to the
out
comic.
all of the stuff that's previously in her body and stuff
Yes.
like that. And then when she's out, obviously the chemo it's a radiation, so it heals her from that.
There's an interesting article that one of the writers from I believe GameSpot or IGN wrote,
sure.
where they said that Jane basically dying off kind of made her unworthy of wielding Mjolnir, and basically was Mjolnir, and kind of disrespected her character.
What?
But I'm just like, because
Wait,
their
hold on,
argument was that there really wasn't a need to kill her off
She died a
in the
hero.
same movie. Yes, but it didn't really make her worthy because essentially, and it's two parts.
Yeah.
One, you build a character and then you kill them off at the end. Felt like a disrespect. Second part, they felt like because it wasn't to the comic books, as in like Mjolnir basically like replenishes her health and everything like that. You know, it made her feel like she wasn't worthy of wielding the hammer because Thor tells her, which is the cutest scene in my opinion.
Yeah, I love that scene.
I think we all, and honestly agree that the scene is perfect. Where Thor basically says, "Please protect her."
Yeah.
Right, and then Mjolnir.
Because
inscribes
Mjolnir
that.
is his best friend.
Exactly.
Like I think you're taking. I think for that they're taking Mjolnir as a
Object.
item, as an item or object, where they should be thinking as Mjolnir as an actual character.
Yes, and that
In
makes
the
it
thing
interesting.
Of like Mjolnir is the greatest homie ever. Of your girlfriend is dying.
Well,
I'm going to and before she dies, I'm going to keep her alive, but also give her the means to reconnect with you.
Yes, and what makes it great is that Tiaka made a love story and told multiple different stories along the way.
It was multiple love stories.
Because we had the Jane and Thor love line.
Yes.
Then we have Thor, Stormbreaker, Mjolnir,
which I love triangle.
the love triangle, and then we have Korg, or is that how you, Korg?
Yeah.
And he told his bit about how he was created. Two
Yes.
dads go into a lava pit, they hold
Hold
hands,
hands.
they make a
Also,
little baby.
we are going to have a baby Korg next time.
I love that.
In the next
It's
Thor, it's
so
gonna be
cute.
great. I can't wait for him to have a baby Korg. That's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
And then Valkyrie's love story as well, where she tells how she lost someone, and that's why she's so afraid to love again.
Well, Gore mentions it because the Valkyries loved each other.
Yeah.
So she lost all of her sisters, or all the other Valkyries.
battle against Hela.
In the battle against Hela, and she said, and because he even says, you prayed to your gods.
Yeah.
And they never came.
Yeah.
That's why you're like this.
So to basically call out and say that Jane died unworthy and was a total disrespect, I think is more of an insult because the way I see it, at least, Jane was really well written. And I get it. In Hollywood, you have contracts to worry about. You have actresses and actors that, have different priorities and stuff.
Natalie Portman is not cheap.
No, she's not. And so if you're going to make her the next door, you have to worry about contract lengths.
Yeah.
You have to worry even about this.
Marvel has announced moving forward with their actors, they are going movie by movie now.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
because I think it was Chris Evans that said that if it wasn't for Captain America, he would have worked on more projects. But because he was stuck on that contract, he couldn't really do
It
it.
was like over 10 years.
Because you're committed. Because they can just pull you and say, hey, this is a movie you're going to be working on.
Well, the bases are basically you have to be obviously fit ready, and then you also have to stay away from any sort of controversy during your contract, and then you also have to have time after you're done principal photography for reshoots as well too.
Yeah, but say what you will, especially with this Ezra Miller stuff. I mean, I don't think any of the like kind of MCU main heroes have had as much stuff as Ezra Miller.
Oh yeah,
Or anything like that.
Allison Brie.
And that is,
Allison Brie.
I mean, Brie.
Amber Heard.
No, not Amber Heard. Oh, it's not Allison Brie.
I was gonna say Allison Brie's from
No, I was like,
Community.
Brie Larson. Brie Larson.
But I mean, even Brie Larson wasn't that huge of a controversy. It
No,
was just,
she was just
She just talked too much.
problematic.
she
amongst
just had
peers.
she had, but I mean, it wasn't any.
But that's the lead.
It was more
up
she
to
had
it.
a view.
Yeah.
She was very opinionated.
That's
She was
that's the more
opinionated,
yes.
but very strong about it
Yeah,
because
but
she
yes,
tried to
was
overtake
strong.
a lot of the
No,
show.
Yeah, she was strongly opinionated, and people didn't like it, and that was. But I mean, also
I'm
for
sorry, are you gonna do your thing? or-
Yeah, later.
Okay.
Yeah.
for what was it? But I mean, for in all fairness, if she was a dude, that probably wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Eh,
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
If she was a
yeah.
dude, that probably wouldn't have been a problem.
but I mean, level-minded people would have been like, "That's not cool to do."
Yeah, but
You
I mean,
know?
like in all fairness, they would have been like, "Wow, like Bree's like." If she was a dude, they would be like, "Oh, yeah, she's very strong-willed. She's very strong-willed. Not she's opinionated."
Wasn't there an actor that kind of said the same thing?
To be all fairness, yeah. I
a
mean,
Marvel actor. Or?
Yeah.
I think was it Chris Hemsworth?
No.
No.
Chris Hemsworth, and so is Evans.
I don't
Anthony
know.
McKay.
Anyway, that's not the point. What Nobody cares. So
No
just
one gives a crap.
no, but what was it?
Oh, no,
I do,
well,
but I do
it's-
think
sorry.
the contract thing makes sense though, because I feel like you do need to have this contract so that way. Because you need to protect your profits. You need to protect this movie before it comes out. Because before it comes out, any bit of controversy could wreck the entire movie. Look at Aquaman 2. They're after the whole Amber Heard thing. Now they're really worried about like, are people going to go see this movie? Is this, are we going to have protests at the movie? Are we going to have people boycotting the movie? Like, what are we going to be doing?
The worst thing
Do we cut this actor out of it? Do we do you know?
release the movie in theaters and then people go to watch it and boo and like that's
Yeah,
it.
like-
That ruins the whole movie experience.
Yeah, I know. They're not even watching the movie anymore, you know? And so I do understand this whole thing of like, you need to be as clean as possible for this movie.
So with that said, though, it's kind of like you got to take multiple different factors into consideration in terms of why you would kind of, kill off Natalie Portman, Jane Foster.
Well,
But
yeah.
sorry, what you're gonna?
I was just gonna say, I think also too when actor is contract in a franchise, and it said usually that stuff is public, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they say Natalie Portman signed on to do three Marvel movies. So now we know, okay, she's gonna do 3 Marvel movies.
can't
and
die.
She also
she
can't
can't die. Or if they do kill her off, initially they'll be like, okay, we're gonna see her again though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
It'll be like a prequel or it'll be like something.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
here's the thing that not a lot of these articles are talking about. They killed her off, but they placed her in Valhalla.
Yes.
Meaning she's
She's
not
back.
She's
coming
there.
back.
She's an asset to use again if she wants to.
I'm calling it because I said it as soon as we left the movie theater. The minute that Chris Hemsworth doesn't want to do Thor anymore, and they have his final movie, and he dies, and he passes on Stormbreaker or Mjolnir or whichever weapon he's using at the time, and he passes it on. It's a real sad moment. He has people over him. He probably has his new niece, that's the new niece that's over him as well. And he leaves off to Valhalla, and he feels alone or he feels sad. But as soon as he gets there, you see, Odin welcomes him with Heimdall and his mom and Loki. And then, boom, Jane Foster comes out, and he's happy, and you can see he's in Valhalla. And he
It's
finally
paradise to him.
And it's finally the paradise that he's always wanted with his family and with Jane.
Yeah.
And that automatically, it writes itself right there.
Seals it right
That's Thor's ending.
Yeah.
He's in Valhalla, and he's at peace.
He's setting the pieces up for that ending.
Yeah.
And then you did mention the niece. Who are we talking about? Well, this character, Love, which is the premise of why this movie is called Thor, Love and Thunder. Such a great little bit to include in there because not a lot of us really understood what they were talking about in terms of Thor, Love and Thunder.
Well, everybody assumed it was the love between Jane and Thor.
Yeah,
that
but
was
no.
it.
It was the girl that Gore basically lost and resurrected at the end of the movie.
Gore's daughter.
So, if you guys are not familiar with it, Gore the God Butcher is a comic book character that was recently created, no? Or has he existed in the comics?
So he's been around since like early 2010s, 2015.
That's
stuff
still
like that.
relatively
That's
young.
early.
That's a really young character.
Yeah. But this character essentially goes out and butchers gods because he feels that gods have no longer been willing to protect humanity
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who.
Yeah.
the
where
people
he's
that worship them.
Yeah.
So he goes around and kills just a bunch of gods because he can. This version of the character wields what
The
kind of sword?
Necrosword.
The Necrosword, which is
Which
a
I'm
cursed
working on.
sword that essentially saps their life away, but gives them the ability to kill gods. Right?
Basically takes away their immortality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thor, Valkyrie, Jane Foster, Thor, the Mighty Thor. Let's refer to her as the Mighty Thor. Essentially, try to recruit the other gods and to create an army to take them down. They go to Omnipotent City, is what it's called, right? And try to
The city of the gods.
City of the Gods, and we see all sorts of gods out there.
Yes.
The only god that I did recognize, like the Aztec, the Mayan gods, everything. The only other god that I noticed was Dionysus.
Yes.
That was the only other god I could visually
I
see.
love the god of
Boss was
Bow.
there.
Oh, God of Bow.
Yeah, God of Bow was sick, but Black Panther's god was there.
Yes. Yeah.
Black Panther's god is there. There's a couple of what was it, Atlantean gods that were there. Also, there's a couple of Aztec gods.
He needs to tear apart that scene because that's a really great little bit of information to kind of look at.
Yeah, just to see these are the gods we used and everything like that. Oh, you can see because you can actually see that the guards that are there, they're Spartans.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the Spartan shields
and
everything else, and you're like, oh, that's kind of sick. Those are that's Zeus's army. It's Spartans.
So
all right, cool.
So I was looking up research for the Necrosword because that's supposed to be originated from Null, the god of symbiotes and stuff like that, of basically darkness and stuff. He's a celestial god of just born in pure darkness of the universe, and he holds the Necrosword. And I was wondering if that was Null
that died in
it, but they said it's in order to kind of write that off. They said, oh, he killed the last wielder of the Necrosword. So we don't know if it was Null or not, but in the comic books, it's he does fight. Gore does get it from Null after fighting a golden god.
Oh, so it was Null that was dead.
Yeah, so that could have been Null. But they never addressed it, obviously. They never said it because, again, it has to do with the symbiotes.
Let's expand on that a little bit for the viewers or listeners that might not know. Symbiote, popularized in Spider-Man, could potentially mean that we have symbiotes in that universe, possibly crossover.
Well, that would make sense because the creatures that they were fighting were very symbiote.
Symbiote.
They were very symbiote looking.
The shadow creatures.
Yeah, the shadow creatures, and they were coming out of the thing.
And this whole storyline with the symbiotes, you can trace it as far back as when they started to make Venom have satanic powers and stuff, which was in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They wrote that entire storyline. Same thing with Carnage. They brought that in. Then they expanded on the symbiote planet and said all these different things, how they are all related, a hive mind. Go look it up because it's interesting. It's long, but it's a very interesting thing.
That would be kind of sick, though.
It would be. It would be.
Cool.
Good little inclusion.
I would like a prop replica of that Necrosword, though. It was sick.
The Necrosword was pretty cool. I do like how it looked. It was like a giant broadsword.
Yeah,
that's
what
cool.
I liked.
So going along with Gore, right? We get a very fast-paced story with him, right?
Yes.
He gets the Necrosword after losing his daughter and killing the sun god that he worships, saying that, you know what? You guys are assholes. Basically, I'm going to start killing off gods because you guys don't respect the people that worship you. And then from that point on, it's just constant. He makes an appearance, he kidnaps the kids, he takes them away, he's mocking the Thor, Mighty Thor, and Valkyrie. He's just doing a bunch of stuff.
He also dehands Lady Sif.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lady Sif is finally back.
I know.
Last time we saw her was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But everything is that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
Last
Agents
time
of
we
S.H.I.E.L.D.
saw-
is non-canon.
Yeah, last time we saw Lady Sif, that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It sucked though, is that we didn't get to follow her in the Thor franchises. You know, we had Valkyrie for that.
That was more of a contract dispute, wasn't it? Or
Oh,
it was more. She got busy with stuff.
Probably.
Yeah. But before you know it, we hit Shadow Realm, which is the place that they have their big battle in
they
to
dueled.
essentially grab Stormbreaker to open up the gates of eternity for Gore to have his wish to kill off all gods.
Yeah, with the Millennium items.
He did. He did activate his shadow monsters.
You've activated my trap card.
He did left a trap. It was a trap.
Yeah, it was a trap. It was a total trap. It was a trap.
But
It was a trap card.
I will say
That
in
would
that,
have been. Oh dang it! We should have said that in the middle of the movie. when she's like, because she does. She's like, it's a trap.
Yep.
we've activated his trap card.
Just to see Gore just flip a card.
Gore's just like,
You've activated my trap card.
I will say that is probably my favorite part of the movie. Aside from, I think we all have favorite parts of the movie, but for me, visually, it was so great because the way they worked with color was so fantastic. I think
was pretty cool.
that is one of
Dark
the
Dimension was pretty
best looking scenes visually in all of the MCU in terms of color.
I would say that if I were to pick my favorite scene, it would probably be Christian Bale in the cage with the kids.
yeah.
That scene with Christian Bale with the kids when they're talking about Thor chopping off Thanos' head, and then Gore, he chops off one of his minions' heads.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You thought it was so cool a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah.
Fine, it's gone." And then he threw it at
Yeah.
them,
just bouncing
and it's just bouncing off of all of them, and they're all freaking out. I really want to see him like as a villain. Like I want to see him as like a demon or something like that in
Gore?
another movie. No.
Or Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, because like he had some real It vibes.
That was really
yeah.
ranged,
Like,
very
that
ranged
was-
for him. He
yeah.
ranged out
But
really
was
well.
there ever a doubt that Christian Bale could
No.
play a villain?
No, I mean he's a great actor regardless.
Yeah.
The thing
Yeah.
is though he doesn't take on roles like that, a very kind of like villainous role.
Because
also very like loud. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
he was like super expressive, and he was what was it? And he would dance sometimes, and it was totally out of the norm for a Christian Bale performance, and that's why I loved it.
Which
I was
makes
like, oh my god, this is
his
awesome.
death much more interesting
Yeah.
because throughout the movie you never really got at least for me, I never really felt like they could defeat him. And
Yeah.
the way they beat him was through love. And it's like, that's such an interesting concept because I get it. The MCU has all this action, all this violence and whatnot, but it's interesting to see a non-violent ending towards a big bad like Thor.
Don't get us wrong, there was a lot of violence.
Yes, there was. Especially with the kids. That was
That was
great.
So I was going to say that's my favorite scene is when Thor grants them all powers.
The power of
Temporary.
Thor.
The power of Thor, yeah.
I love it where he's just like
Temporary.
let everyone true grant the power of Thor. Temporarily. And like he whispers it
Yeah.
into the bolt, and I was like, that's so funny.
So
That's so because of Thor going like, oh, I should give them powers
Yeah.
so that way they can help me, but also having the forethought of going, but if they all have it permanently,
Yeah.
that could be a problem.
That's a future Thor's problem. Yeah, I don't want to deal with. He's all...
No, but that's also a character growth
Yeah.
of Thor thinking ahead of time.
I liked that. That was the army that he got.
Yes.
That's the thing, because the whole beginning of the movie is like, we need an army, we need everyone, and we all band together, we all could just take them down and stuff.
Well, and the thing is that he finally got an army of Asgardians.
As Guardians, yes.
Like he didn't need any other god. All he needed was Asgardians.
I loved, remember when after the kids are taken and then like some Asgardians, they're all, they're like arguing, right? And they're like, half our army's gone. And someone's like, always half of our army is gone. Like,
Half our army is always gone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god.
this is a very Taika centric
yes,
movie.
yes.
Because here's the thing. The Russo brothers know how to make grand, epic fights with like huge crowds and big armies and stuff.
Emotional
they know how to get you
Yeah,
riled up.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the theater.
Taika is like that. He's like, I'm gonna take that idea, but I'm gonna make it funnier in my own version.
Well, he's gonna find the things that are just so outlandish. It's funny.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, like there had to be a people that died during that battle.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And every single time that the Asgardian guards are ever attacked, they get wiped.
Yeah.
Like they're never useful.
No.
They're never useful.
Disposable.
Not against Thanos.
Nope.
Not against Hela.
Nope.
Not against Loki. Never. They're
League
never
of
useful.
Legend minions as what
Yeah.
they are.
So why don't we just make fun of it? Let's call it out. Let's call a spade a spade.
Can I get a timestamp to see how much time we have left?
52 minutes.
We're at 52?
Yeah,
Yeah.
52, yeah.
We're solid. We can wrap this up in about 10 to 15 minutes,
You want
right?
to talk about the after credits?
Yes.
Or at least one of them?
Well, I mean, you got your part, which is the kids. I got my part, which is the Saddle Realm. Mandy's real quick.
Yeah. Oh, she loved the goats.
She loved the goats.
Yes.
The goats got tiring for me just a bit. Just a little bit.
But I did feel that was a very Taika thing, because I was telling him when we got out of the movie, when we were getting our soda before Mandy dropped it.
She dropped my Coke Zero.
That was so funny.
And she didn't trip on anything. That's the thing.
It was so funny because I really wanted to just stand there and like get on the floor and like and like get like a level and just kind of go like,
Was there something off? Yeah.
what did she trip on?
Yeah, because we were in an open area, flat surface.
No, the funny thing is that the greatest response wasn't even Mandy falling. It was us going to the ushers at AMC to tell them, hey, we dropped a soda. You should probably send somebody out there before somebody falls. And his response was, that's the mall's problem. You crossed the carpet.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
not
are
the
good, yeah.
AMC. It's fine. Leave. The mall will clean it. And I was just like, what?
You would think that he maybe be like, okay, no, it's not our problem, but I'll
Put a
let them
sign
know.
or
Yeah,
something because
yeah.
we were worried that someone was going to trip on it.
Yeah. And then, but he was just like, nah, man, that's the mall's problem, man. Somebody slips, not a big deal. Don't worry.
So that was your favorite part of the movie, Nick?
What, the mall thing? No.
That's your favorite.
No, I
Yeah, it was
already
the
said-
end of the movie.
You already said his
No,
favorite
no, I
part.
already said my favorite part. The gore in the cage scene.
Yeah, with the
that
kids.
that honestly that was my favorite part. I honestly I think that anything with gore was really awesome. I just loved Christian Bale's performance in this.
He was great.
He kicked so honestly I liked his performance more than I like this villain more than Hela.
Yeah.
Like Hela had a lot of like deep like I'm going to take over and I'm going to do all these other things, and I felt like she was a little more dangerous. But I like this character because he spoke out on the hypocrisy of gods.
Hela was a catalyst to the big ending.
Yes.
Whereas Gore was the big bad throughout the whole bit.
Yeah.
Or throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
like
if I were to put Hela versus Gore, Hela might win. Like honestly, like Hela would probably have won that fight. But I feel like Gore does a really great job at speaking out at the hypocrisy of the gods to kind of go like, we pray to these gods and these deities and everything else, and they don't do anything for us. They do nothing for us. And that was really cool.
Which is a great segue.
I know it is.
To the end credit, the first end credit that we get.
I stacked it up for you.
I put the cards on top and I was just like, take it away.
So the first end credit scene, just a little bit of a discussion of what happened in the middle when they go to Omnipotent City.
Yes.
Basically, we get that whole bit where we see Thor's butt, and there's a fight. And Zeus
Zeus.
basically
And him
does
being,
that.
you're not invited to the orgy anymore.
Oh,
That was
they
so-
straight up just went
Yeah.
in there like,
Yeah.
ooh man, like
Yeah.
you're gonna have a
this
kid going like,
this
what's
guy
an
sucks.
orgy?
Yeah.
This guy- I did love that where he was just like he goes top priority. Where are we having the orgy this year?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, well maybe
Well,
it's not that bad. And they were
I
like,
mean,
oh no, this guy sucks.
It's
it's
a Greek god.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like, it's honestly, that's gods love to do that. like,
Especially Zeus.
they're horny.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep talking. No orgy for you. Like,
That's it. You're definitely not invited. Russell Crowe did a good job as Zeus.
I like
yeah,
those.
with his
Yeah.
with his Greek accent.
Yes.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
So in that whole sequence of events, they get into a big fight,
Yeah.
and Thor grabs the lightning bolt.
No, well,
or
he
excuse me,
catches it.
He
He
catches it.
redirects it.
What's his name? Thunderbolt is the lightning bolt's name. There's a specific name to it.
I think
he
it's
calls it,
just
like
Thunderbolt.
Yeah,
No, it's like Thunderbolt.
yeah, Thunderbolt. He like has a name for the Thunderbolt,
He's
right?
like, you should probably know my secret weapon's name if you want to use it.
Yeah,
Like, and ask somebody to take it.
throws it at Zeus and pierces through his chest,
Yeah.
essentially killing him.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'm
what,
gonna say
that's what
this.
people thought.
That's what people thought. I didn't think that because you can't kill a Greek god.
Yeah.
Especially with his own weapon.
They've said that multiple times that the Necrosword is the thing that could kill a god.
That's the only thing, yeah.
Even in mythology, the Greek gods don't die easily. Like if you read anything about Kronos and the birth of the original gods in Greek mythology, they don't die. They get eaten up and then they have to be split open to come out.
But it's the what was it? It's the same idea of like you trying to electrocute Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that makes no sense.
It
like,
doesn't.
Like okay, so we're just gonna make Thor stronger.
Yeah.
I guess.
So he essentially falls. We don't see him throughout the rest of the movie, but he comes
Yes.
back at the end
He
credit
was
scene
injured,
and he's
yes.
being healed up by Zeus's whatever you want to call him. Basically, Zeus's.
Zoozies.
Zoozies.
It's the. You know what? I'm okay with that. There's Zoozies.
There's Zoozies.
I'm
He's
okay
being-
with it. Because there's
He's being
Zoozies.
patched up, right?
He's being
speaking
patched
to
up by
someone.
his handmaidens.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
and he's
Zoozies.
speaking to someone off screen, saying that you know what, like Thor may have been right on some part, and humanity has been. They don't even worship us anymore. Yeah. They pray to the skies, and who comes to save them? A superhero.
Yeah.
They don't even look to us for help. So
I also love the idea of Thor. Thor has been through a lot.
yeah.
And Thor has been getting a lot of tattoos.
Oh, I forgot
Thor,
about that.
Thor has a "I love you, mom" tattoo. He has R.I.P. Loki, which is huge,
Yeah.
and he has Loki's horns and everything else.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god,
I'm
Thor
seeing it
has
again
so
on
much
Saturday
stuff."
and hoping to see if I can catch more details on the tattoo.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
the
think there's an
R.I.P.
Odin
Loki-
tattoo.
Yeah.
There's an Odin. It's Odin's sigil on his back and everything else. I think it's on his butt actually.
Yeah. Oh,
He had a couple
see if you
tallies.
can find an Iron Man one because he always gets one of like when someone
Oh,
dies.
somebody dies, so most likely he has
All
like
right,
Iron.
I'll take a
he
look
has,
at it.
like-
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's speaking to someone off screen and basically says, "I think that you should go after Thor and basically kill him."
It was Hercules.
Who?
I knew Nick was gonna do that too. I knew he was gonna. He's letting you build it up, and I know he's just gonna be like, pull the
hate
rug
you.
from under you.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
So we get Hercules. But who plays him, Brian?
I don't know his name.
Really?
But he's
Brent.
He's
Brett
Brett Goldstein.
Goldstein, yeah.
Brett Goldstein.
And he's a normally a British actor because he's most of the stuff that I'm reading that it's coming up. It's all from.
It's all Britain.
It's all Britain, but he got his recognition, like his got recognition from
States.
all around. Is from Ted Lasso.
He plays, what was his name
Roy
again?
Kent.
Roy Kent.
Roy Kent.
Don't say it. Can't
Roy
say
Kent.
it. He's there.
He's here.
He's there.
He's everywhere.
I haven't
you go.
watched it. So.
Oh, Ted Lasso's so
Dude,
good.
Ted
Oh, yeah?
Lasso's amazing.
It's so
I've been
good.
I've been hearing it's
It walks.
funny.
You don't need to learn anything about British soccer,
Yeah.
the Premier League.
Yeah.
It walks you through the
Okay.
process.
Dude, I
gently.
still don't know what's going on in the Premier League. All I know is that Ted Lasso is awesome.
Well, they're in
They're-
spoiler. They're in the Premier League. Then they get demoted to League One
Yeah.
or the Championship League. Excuse me. So
Yeah.
there's that. Anyways,
which is also really funny because he's an American
Mm-hmm.
who plays football, he doesn't understand, so they have to dumb it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to, like he's like, this is really weird. They like you can actually, they're like, what happens when you guys fail and you guys lose a lot? Nothing. Like, he's like, we go back and we play again next year.
Yeah.
And we try real hard.
Yeah.
Like
That's how you.
there's a
supposed to do
scene
it.
in there which is kind of. I know you don't care about sports, but it's interesting because they do kind of like reference things a little bit. So they have to play a Leagues Cup game at Wembley Stadium, which is the stadium in Britain, big one. And he kind of jokes about the size of it. He's like, "Don't you guys have regulated size fields?" He's like, "No, it just differs from stadium to stadium." A little bit of information.
that's cool.
Anyways, Roy Kent is in Thor: Love and Thunder.
He's in the MCU.
Great.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see him, and I really
He looks
hope-
good.
He does,
Yeah.
and that's why I
dude,
want.
he looks fit as
So
hell.
that's what I'm saying.
I
So in Ted
want-
Lasso, is he somewhat like
He's a-
athletic?
he's a bit thicker, like-
he's a little bit thicker, but he is just as built.
Oh, okay.
He's an
He's
older.
definitely superheroed.
Yes.
He's definitely built like a superhero.
He's
though.
fit because in Ted Lasso he's still a good soccer player, but he's of age already where he needs to retire, and
He's
that's
Tom,
a big
he's
idea.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. No, because Tom Brady can still technically play. Roy Kent in season 1 is like, you need to retire, and he does retire, and then he misses the game.
Well, thanks
but
for
he doesn't come back.
spoiling Ted Lasso. Thank you.
I mean, this season's been out already. I already said spoiler alert.
He's never seen it.
No, I don't have Apple TV.
He wouldn't have known.
Just watch it. That's not a big spoiler.
Is it okay?
It's
I'll take
rumored.
your word for it. Yeah.
It's rumored. It's a lot of stuff.
Whatever. Stop. Hercules.
Hercules. And
I hate
Thor.
you.
I know.
You can't just let me have one thing, huh?
Never.
Not even soccer.
Not even the sport I love.
'Cause you're
Anyway.
the only thing in this room that likes that. That's
Oh
fine.
my god.
So
Hercules.
Yes.
That's dope.
Okay.
No, because there's a lot of comic books where Hercules and Thor fight.
Yeah.
They're also
Yeah.
friends too, and everything. So I'm kind of
Well,
interested.
Hercules
to see,
joins the Avengers at some point. as
at
well,
a certain
too.
point, Hercules does join the Avengers. I'm interested to kind of see if whether or not Hercules is the villain of the next Thor movie.
So I don't think so. He'll be the initial fighter you fight early on.
Yeah, and then he eventually will probably become an ally
Yeah.
of Thor. And everything. I imagine that's probably what's going
I
to happen.
love the little mix up of mythologies in this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
Thor,
really
yeah.
good.
Thor
Yeah.
and Hercules being best friends. Yes.
Yeah. Thor using the thunderbolt that belonged to Zeus. It was great. That was great.
Yeah. Never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
All I gotta
Good
say.
concept.
Yeah.
To wrap up, Thor: Love and Thunder.
I also thought that was so funny. I loved that scene where he's just like, you stole the lightning bolt of Zeus, and because Thor is their hero, and he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, never meet your heroes.
Yeah, that's what I
And,
thought. Like honestly,
it
I was like,
so
something's gonna
funny.
happen. They did that joke. I'm like,
It was so fun. No, because you see the kids' faces of like, what? Like you're
Yeah.
our hero?
we idolize you.
We idolize you. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
So to wrap up Thor: Love and Thunder, we all loved it.
Yes.
It was a great film. I think that the critics were a little bit too harsh on it, but I understand why. It's a 6-7 average, you know. For me, hang on, don't interrupt. You already interrupted me twice with the whole Hercules crap.
True.
That's unforgivable.
Whatever.
I will say it's a romantic comedy, and in order to do a romantic comedy and tell a good story in the MCU, you do need to lose some aspects of, good storytelling. It was fast-paced. You were getting straight to the point. It was still a fun movie. And I don't disagree with the customer that came in and said, you need to shut your brain off. Because some people do.
Yeah.
But we all enjoyed it. What were you going to say, Nick?
I was going to say that this movie was all about... It was all about Thor coming to terms with... Because we had kind of already had Thor coming to terms with his mother's death, Thor coming to terms with his father, Loki, dealing with Thanos and failing, but Jane Foster had never really been brought back up. This one really gave Thor that final catharsis. Not only that, but all throughout the entire movie, there, even Korg says, I think Thor would be a great dad. Like, Thor would be an amazing father. And I do like the idea of him gaining... Not necessarily a daughter, a child, like, to take care of. Like, kind of, he very much Batmaned it. Where
How I Met Your Mother did. They Barney Stinson this.
Yeah.
Why?
Because have you seen the ending of How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, that's his kid.
But like in order for Barney to truly love something, it ended up being his own daughter.
Yeah,
that he falls in love with.
It's what changed him.
Yeah,
so this is kind of it because
that was a lame ending for Barney. Let's be
I kind of
quick
liked
ending,
it.
but
Yeah,
I mean
it
I
was
didn't
to the
mind
point. But that's the interesting part about this movie is that Korg tells the story. He's basically telling the story, right? He's going from like dad bod to god bod to dad bod, which is basically him accepting that that he can love again, and he can learn to basically take care of
also
people.
The Guardians hate him.
That's true. They're sick of him.
No, but it was so funny though because the Guardians, you can tell because when he first got on at the end of Endgame, the Guardians were like, okay, Thor's cool, and at the very end of it, they were like, dude, get off the ship. Yeah. Like, we'll murder Thor. Like, we don't know how to kill Thor.
As a going away present, I
we'll
grant you
figure
the
it out.
ship.
Yeah, I know.
That was my ship.
Oh,
are you trying to gift me my ship?
Well, I love too when he was given the goats. And then just like, even the guy was like, yeah, just take them. He's like,
well, he destroyed their freaking glass temple.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny where he was just like, oh yeah, I really wanted to apologize about the temple. Stop talking about the temple. It's upsetting me. You're making me mad. Yeah. Stop. And he goes, why don't we move on? But yeah, I really do like the idea of even Thor keeps jumping from family to family.
Yeah.
In this movie and actually in everything because he
loses a lot of people.
Yeah, he's
and I think Korg actually said that.
Yeah, he's been losing a lot of people. I mean, even at a certain point, there was a fake out with Korg's death.
Oh yeah, how'd you feel about that?
And I was like, oh man, Korg, he lost Korg too.
Yeah, like I was like that. I was like, no way.
Like I think at a certain point, Thor's just gonna be Deadpooling it, where he's just like starting to hang himself and just going like, nothing's working. But I do like the idea of at the very end, Thor has somebody to mentor. He has somebody to love that loves him as well. I would have really kind of liked a little bit of a time skip, like for her to have been a little bit older.
We'll probably get it in the next movie
because I would have liked her to be a little bit older just because I felt like it was a little too fast for Thor to for that happy home to have already kind of like
for love
happened.
To know who he is
and for everything to kind of be like everything else and to kind of have this like this thing. I get, but I do understand where it's like we can't just put a new actress at the very end of the movie because then everybody would be like, who the hell was that? And everything else. I totally understand that. For me, I just would have liked to see more time pass for that, but I'm interested to see it. I can't wait to see Thor show up with Love whenever he like shows up to Earth eventually and has to like re-interact with the Avengers and be like, hey guys, this is my niece. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
like where's that? Or I can't wait for him to meet Loki and go like, you have a niece. And go like, who is this?
Yeah.
Like, who is this person?
Yeah.
God knows you can't, father your own child. You had to take someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like what happened? And I want him to explain it too, because I just feel like Loki would go, "I'm sorry, you did what? Like, wait, so you took your enemy's child and raised it as your own? It's the most evil thing I can think of."
Sure, you're not the villain.
Because that's what they did with Loki.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, like you took that child and you raised it as your own. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty messed up.
Full circle again.
Yeah, it's full circle.
It's a circle.
It's a circle.
Just like the Shadow Realm thing.
Yeah.
Rene, wrap this up. Any last thoughts?
I thoroughly love this movie. I think because what made me just love it even more is just because the way they wrote Jane in. Very good. In the first 5 minutes she's on screen, she's written already really good. She's very quirky and she's very humble.
She has a personality.
Yes. She's a character. Like
She's not a female to prove that, Thor doesn't have a case of the nut gaze.
yeah. Which I like. And I like the way that her arc is in this movie too. Very good, very fitting, and I liked it a lot. That's what made me, because honestly they could have wrote it really bad of bringing Jane in.
Yeah.
It could have been really bad.
It was with respect.
Yeah.
I'm
which is good.
also very curious on what her final catchphrase was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it
Because
was "Eat my hammer."
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
When she right before she destroyed the necrosword.
No, she says another one.
She does?
Because he whispers it in his ear.
Oh.
She whispers it in his ear right before she dies.
Mm.
And then they both start laughing.
That's probably for when she comes back, when
Or-
Thor goes to Valhalla.
Or it's what Love's gonna, that's gonna be Love's
Catchphrase.
catchphrase.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Because I can't wait to see them swap, hammers and stuff like that, like Captain America.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick. Moving on.
Yes.
Last topic of this issue. We didn't talk about the boys last
Because the
time.
boys are back in town.
We didn't watch it last week.
I didn't,
Yeah.
but we were
Yeah.
also very caught up on Stranger Things.
That's why.
Because that's a
Yeah.
big topic
That was
to
a
talk
big
about.
issue.
You
Issue
made us
104
sit here and watch the last 2 episodes
of
The Boys.
Of the
Dude,
Boys.
I have
How
not
dare
had
you.
a single moment of rest over this last week. It's
Watch it
literally.
while driving. Do
I
do what
know.
normal
I'm not
people do.
you, Nick.
Do what normal people do.
No, not what.
What
It's what normal people
put their
do.
life at risk
Yeah.
as they're driving.
Stop. We are not.
The cops
We are
never know.
not.
It's
We are
fine.
not recommending that. No,
Never. I would. Never
I do not
recommend
stand
that.
by your statement.
Just
No.
never.
On audio, they
No.
won't know what Nick just did right now.
never recommend that.
You keep winking at the front camera. Your camera's right there.
I'm looking over there and just every single. I'm looking at you and then I do that to that camera and I look.
All right, Barney,
The
relax.
Boys.
The boys. So season 4, 3 just wrapped up as of recording. So far, we've all agreed that this is probably been the best season so far of
Yes.
The Boys, and it is confirmed with this last episode where the focus was every action has a consequence.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yeah.
It's still alluding to a season 4. We kind of understand where it's headed in its direction. I don't think that we should summarize the last 2 episodes because it's kind of all over the place and kind of long to explain.
There's so many subplots.
I mean,
that-
Nick, you try and then you spend 15 minutes going about the same point.
no.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I can get this.
No, you can't.
2 minutes.
No.
we have
2 minutes on the
only
clock.
20 minutes.
Put
Yes.
put a minute on the clock.
19
No.
minutes now.
I can do this.
Okay, well, I don't believe you. Moving on.
Well, we can honestly, we could just talk about the finale.
Yeah, basically,
because the
because-
last episode was just setting up for the finale.
Exactly.
honestly.
Yeah. Which the only big reveal, essentially, spoiler alert if you have not seen season 3 of Boys. First spoiler. All right. Again, pause it. Go watch The Boys. Come back at this time span. Okay. So the big reveal in the second to last episode was that the Temp V that was used by Huey and by Butcher is slowly killing them.
Yes.
The only last big part about it was that Soldier Boy is Homelander's father.
Yes.
What's also really interesting though is that Edgar was trying to sell that to the military
Yeah.
as is.
Mhm.
Like he wasn't changing anything. So he was willing to kill so many soldiers.
But it kind of parallels what goes on now, and The Boys does that because we mentioned
there
it
was a lot.
in previous issues
There's a
where
lot.
The Boys does do parallel a lot of different topics. Like again,
It
in
mirrors
terms
a
of
lot
funny,
top current events.
in terms of like funny, we got the best taco bowls in
the tower.
In the tower, right?
Yeah.
Which is a thing that happened. The insurrection. They kind of do that in this final issue, or in this final episode. And it kind of parallels the whole aspect of like the military just kind of pushing programs and pushing medical stuff on soldiers and kind of leaving them with PTSD. They even deal with that in this last episode where Soldier Boy does have PTSD and he just kind of like nonchalantly goes like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't have
Smoke a
shell
little
shock.
weed.
Yeah.
Drink a lot. Medicate.
In all
good.
fairness, that was a huge back in the day. That wasn't a thing that people would talk about.
No, it wouldn't.
It would be actually like a shameful thing.
Yeah.
Like you had shell shock.
So that's the second to last episode. And then this last episode, it's kind of like everything that has happened in the last like 5 episodes is basically ending up right here, right?
Yeah.
But the biggest point that I think that we should discuss is how much this show has just turned away from the comics and essentially said, we're not following that story. So if you've read the Boys comic books, it's not going in that
It's
direction.
completely going 180 now.
Yeah, because I asked you guys, I haven't read the books,
Which
but
actually,
I asked.
I feel like it's a lot better.
No,
Yes.
like I
really-
said, all the characters in The Boys in the comic are they're not, you don't feel bad for them a whole lot, except for like maybe like, like Huey is a completely different character. I mean, he's like, he is very likable, but in certain ways differently in the comic book than how likable Huey is on the show. That's the thing. They wrote these characters, especially Billy the Butcher. In the comic books, he is just a terrible person, but just doing what's right, but still a terrible person. Because in the comic books, Butcher kills all of his team members. He kills them all because he knows what he's doing, and they're gonna stop him, and they don't. He wants to complete his mission.
Because I feel that this Butcher wouldn't.
No, he's not gonna do that.
He would never kill
Yeah,
them because he feels that they are family.
They're making him more likable, but he's still a bit of an asshole. But at least he's very likable. He's very human.
He's our dick.
There's he does a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
And he's suffering consequences for it. And I think that the only person that's narrating the saving grace is Huey, because Huey's the only one amongst the members of the Boys that says there's still somewhere deep down inside him, balls deep, there's a little bit of hope that he's still somewhat good.
Yeah.
That's his saving grace.
But I also really enjoy the idea of, because I'm already telling you, I'm calling you right now. Butcher is gonna die at a Temp V. And it's going to be in the final battle with Homelander. Like, he's going to use it
one last time,
and that's going to be to take on
Well,
Homelander
the
for
Boys are
for the final
strong.
time.
They stand strong on the fact that if a character gets hurt, they can't recover. They've done that with A-Train's brother. He's never going to walk again. They did that with Maeve because she got written off in this last episode, which you guys questioned. It's like, oh, she could potentially come back because they've confirmed Kimiko takes Compound V again and gets her powers back.
Yeah, after she loses her powers, she gains them back.
Yes. But there was an interview that kind of spoiled something. I didn't read who it was, thankfully. But they did say that it was time for her to leave. So it's kind of confirming that the writers have said Maeve is a one-and-done story.
which is fair. Because in this, not this season, but just like in the series of general, like it was cool to see her subplot more of like realizing that she doesn't want to be a superhero anymore. And then getting to this point, she finally gets what she wants. That makes more sense that like, okay, that was her arc.
Yeah, they wrote her off well, and they kind of said like, "Here, you're riding off into the sunset."
If she comes back, it feels kind of like
No, I mean,
backsliding.
The one thing I could see is maybe for the final battle, like for that, like I'm telling you right now, what I want is I want the Dawn of the Seven. I want that final moment. Like they've already projected how the series is going to end. They've already shown it to us. We just haven't gotten there yet. But this whole like, it's very Avengers-esque, but very like a terrible Avengers.
A reverse Dawn of the Seven.
Yeah, and it's a reverse Dawn of the Seven.
Okay,
everybody
'cause I was gonna
against
say.
Homelander.
Well, people are already liking how they're depicting representation in the show. Basically, like last season, where they had all the female characters come together to take on Stormfront. People are already saying that was a much better scene than how Avengers Endgame did it.
Yes, where it's just like, we've got this. It's like, oh wait, how do you guys know each other?
Yeah, that's
Like, who are you?
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know. It's this series is really good, especially also because they have now said that Billy Butcher doesn't have a long enough time. Now.
12, 18
just
months.
a year,
Yeah.
basically a year he has left, and now we're thinking, okay, well they've been confirmed for season 4. How
5
after
seasons
that?
you're
That's
done?
the thing. Yeah, like how are you going to stretch it out, especially in the time frame that
Easy.
they're going to do?
5 seasons in a movie.
All right, community, relax.
Just saying, 5 seasons in a movie.
Unless Dan
Didn't
Harmon
Joe
actually
McHale
goes.
like mention that? He's like, yeah, we're trying to do a movie. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
working
we
the
on it.
whole-
actually were. They were trying to do a movie.
So everyone besides Chevy Chase and Childish Gambino, they've all basically have said if the timing is right, they'll make a community movie. Besides the point, unless Dan Harmon's on there, I don't see another movie coming out. But
That's true.
I do feel like The Boys is heading into 2 more seasons, a season 4 and a season 5.
Yeah.
Which I understand because the way this ends is essentially they bring on Starlight, right? Or Annie now because she doesn't go by Starlight. They accept her into The Boys.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the season ended the way it did because you kind of get to pick and choose who your favorite cast of characters are, and everyone has someone different, right? Like for me, I'm in love.
It's the deep, huh?
For you?
No, you.
No.
You like the deep, huh?
Stop.
You like it.
No.
I enjoy.
Frenchie, I'm going to say
Okay.
this. I'm sorry because
Okay.
I don't want Nick to basically
okay.
say and
To
slander
sully-
my name.
yeah,
Yeah.
sully your
No, it's
opinion.
Frenchie. Look, you always ask, why are you such an asshole? Why are you so mean? Why are you that? I have feelings. I like the Frenchie Kimiko storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very
Yeah.
wholesome story.
Nick.
It's very loving.
Jerk.
It's very great.
Yeah,
Asshole.
beautiful.
You have a problem with that? No.
Because it's not the deep.
'Cause I'm telling you right now,
I was right
it's the
about
deep.
it.
It is the deep. He would not stop talking about the deep.
Oh
At the end.
my God.
Deep is. I loved what they've been doing with the Deep as of like marketing for this season because they're doing like little, he'll do like little ads
Yeah.
that are fake, but they're made for the show.
I just love the fact that the deep is a sellout. Like he's a hardcore
Yeah,
sellout. Like he is a company man through and through.
Yeah.
Of just like, listen, man, I'll do whatever it takes. If I have to blow Homelander, I'll do it. Like, I'm not gonna like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
He's just the lapdog, essentially.
He is.
And I've mentioned this earlier to you guys. It's A-Train and the Deep that are the only alive members
Of the 7.
of the 7. Everyone is either gone or dead.
Dead. I mean, Noir was killed by Homelander.
Rest in peace.
What was it? You had Supersonic, who Homelander killed. Starlight's gone. Maeve is gone. Translucent was killed by Huey.
Season 1, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of the members of the 7, even though it kind of feels like a lot of the time that Butcher and them are losing, they've actually made a big difference.
They've taken down a member.
They've taken down a member of the 7 every year, where it's like, okay, cool. Like they're members of the 7 that drop. Like A-Train. A-Train, he's been gone from the 7 for a while.
He's been dealing with his own stuff, but the interesting thing about it is,
I think the first season is when he started having the heart problems, right?
yeah. Oh, and that's a great little thing. He that's the only character they brought back to life, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Because he ends up dying after he kills Blue Hawk.
He has a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Blue Hawk,
and then they gave him Blue Hawk's transplant.
Yeah.
Which is such a great.
That's the irony.
Yeah.
in that is beautiful.
The
Yeah.
man you hate is the only thing keeping you alive.
Yeah.
It's so
you have a
funny.
new heart. You can run again. It's like, dude. But that's the thing is at the end of the season, you do have Homelander essentially calling out everyone in his group, which is the Deep, Ashley, and A-Train, and basically saying, you guys are no longer my family. You guys are just,
You guys are jerks.
yeah, you guys were
suck.
useless to me.
You guys suck.
Yeah. Big battle at the end with Soldier Boy, Maeve, basically the entire
The
crew.
whole cast,
everyone.
yeah.
Everyone. And Maeve basically jumps off the building to prevent Soldier Boy from going nuclear and killing off everyone.
Yeah.
And the big thing is Ryan chooses to go with Homelander,
yeah.
which is Homelander's son, if you guys are
Yes.
not familiar with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Homelander's son finally chooses. Well, actually, I feel like the actual like real big thing is that Homelander murders somebody in open daylight
That's the
in
end
front
of
of
it. Yeah.
in front
the
of
final
in
scene,
front of,
yeah.
in front of people, and people cheer. People are happy that Homelander is a vicious murderer that just killed the person that they disagreed with. And that's crazy. That's so
And I
nuts.
find that very plausible, especially with that demographic that he's reaching out to.
Yes, they're
And-
very
yeah.
like extremist.
Extremist, yes, there you go.
They're very extremist, and the idea that
That's as far as we're gonna go.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
The idea that
Not gonna mention anything else.
But the thing is that to kind of like, because they're not for government, they're not for VOT, they're not for anything else. It's
No,
just
but they're true
Homelander.
Americans. They're
But they're
doing their
true
American
Americans.
duties.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they are the true Americans, and,
The truest of the true
liberals.
Americans.
Yeah, I would really feel bad for the actress that like they were really zooming in on during that like whole riot scene, because they were just like the one actress that was in like an American flag shirt,
yeah.
and they just kept zooming in on her, just going like, "That's the racist," and I was like, "Oh man."
Can you imagine like the
that
crew-
on your on your IMDb of just like, so what did you do in The Boys? I was the racist.
but filming but like you're filming like, okay, you're filming that scene and you're like, who's the more radical one? It's her.
Who fits it a lot
Yeah.
better, right?
Who's
really-
playing it the most? Who's playing it up?
That girl looks like she believes what she's saying. I felt really bad for her. I'm like, man, I really
Background racist number 1.
I know, I
I
was
played
like-
background racist 56.
I was background racist number 1.
I was the one that
I was tipping.
zoomed
I was
in.
tippity top on that one. No, I felt really bad for her. I was like, it's also one of those things of like, man, point the camera at someone else, please. Like, stop pointing the camera at me. Like, what the heck?
Like that
There's
skit
so
from-
many others.
Like that skit from Key and Peele when like they're in like City Hall and like the mayor's like, talking about certain demographics, and when he talks about a gay demographic,
Yes.
it goes to Jordan and he's like, and he's like moving around.
The camera keeps following.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But also the thing that like stole the show of the entire season, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles was a great.
Jensen
I think
Ackles
super
was a
great addition.
fantastic addition,
And they
he is not
didn't kill
dead.
him off.
And
Yes.
he is not.
You think they were going to
dead.
kill him off?
They've
I
been
wouldn't be
doing that
surprised.
though.
I
That's
wouldn't
the
be
thing.
surprised.
Whenever they enter a new like super villain character, like a super
Well,
hero
Stormfront
character,
Stormfront was in this season.
For
she
like
was for a little bit.
two
But that's the
episodes.
thing.
Yeah.
But like
They pulled the rug on you.
Mhm.
Because it's an interesting, and again, it's surprising but not surprising because The Boys has not followed a formula that most shows do.
So
Well,
what
also, how would you kill
Homelander?
No, like we don't know how to kill
Yeah.
Homelander.
Oh, I mean,
How do we kill his dad?
Oh, that could be the next thing. Maybe next season.
Like
they
unless
try.
unless they're gonna start experimenting on
Yeah,
like let's
again.
try killing Soldier Boy again.
I can see that happening next season. They try to figure out how to kill Homelander by trying to test on Soldier
Soulja
Boy,
Boy.
and Soldier Boy's gonna wake up and obviously gonna freak out.
I don't want him to come back
I
next
don't.
season.
I want him to come back in the final season.
Yeah, because he was such one. Jensen Ackles sold the Soldier Boy bit. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
sold that character really well.
And then what's funny is that he doesn't. Soldier Boy in the comic books is not like that, but
not
he
as good.
sold it as a more of like anti Captain America,
Yeah.
kind of vibe, which was great.
Which is probably what they told him to do. Is like, hey, you know, America's hero, Captain America, do the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say of the last 2 episodes, greatest line in both episodes of older women are like fine wine.
Oh
like
my
fine
god.
The older they get, they're more delicious, but all the drier. I was just the way he delivers it.
It was
is
so
good.
Oh
It
my
was so
god.
good.
Dude.
I was like
No.
But I liked
immediately when I
how.
heard it.
But I liked how he was watching them, and they were watching each other. There was no
Yeah.
contact.
It was
Yeah.
kind of weird, but I mean all
I-
superheroes are pretty weird in this.
Yeah, they got their
universe.
own little things.
They got their own-
Like
they got their own
hero-gasms.
kinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean in the
Hero-gasm.
very first episode, in a penis.
Yeah,
Like that was his kink of just going into somebody.
What's the timestamp?
how we're reaching. Oh, 127 right now.
127.
Yeah, we'll start close now.
Let's close out this by giving, short prediction of what we think season 4 might lead into, okay? Nick, do you want to start off?
I think that Homelander is going to start radicalizing Ryan. I think that's going to be because the thing is that Ryan is not exposed to the public and he's not exposed to people and he doesn't have friends. But and so it more or less he's been kind of cooped up just like Homelander was. Like he didn't grow up as a child. He didn't grow up as anything else. Say what you will about Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy at least grew up as a normal kid.
Yeah.
And then was transformed into the world's strongest person.
Mm-hmm.
So he is not a total sociopath. He's just a dick. And just kind of knows like, oh yeah, like I can kind of get away with whatever I want because I'm invincible. I do think that radicalizing Ryan is going to be a huge thing. I think Billy is going to not tell the group, but Huey is going to find out, either Huey or MM, just because technically MM is the team's doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I am really excited to see Frenchie and Kimiko being a little more outspoken about the way that they feel.
Mm-hmm.
About the team's plans, and also
now you like their storyline.
I've always liked their storyline.
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
You just because the Deep was your favorite storyline.
Stop, Rene. Moving
so
on.
my favorite part of this series, or I mean, like what I'm predicting,
Squid scene.
I think I'm gonna kind of go off of what you're saying, that Ryan's gonna be very radicalized, but I think Ryan's gonna die at the end of the season, and that's gonna push Homelander over the edge for the 5th season and hopefully final season.
Do they have the guts to kill a child though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They showed Black Noir's guts, like
No,
I mean, Stranger Things already did it.
Not only that, but also I can totally see, because with the idea of if they were to find Soldier Boy, I'm pretty sure he would jump on board with, especially since they locked him up and they didn't. What was it, Butcher and all them? I can see him fighting against Butcher and his kind of against Butcher and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see them finding Black Noir and putting him back together.
Yeah.
And then Black Noir coming back, because that is technically Black Noir's powers. He's immortal.
Yeah.
So as long as you kind of fix him up
And just put everything back in there.
and put everything back to where it was and kind of patch him up, he should come back to life.
Yeah. As
So-
a Frankenstein.
As a kind of like a Frankenstein's monster, and I can kind of see them adding Black Noir to their little merry band of murderers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to kind of see where that goes. That's a interesting idea, and I do see that the fall of Vought is going to be in the next season.
Yeah.
Vought's going to go
Can you
down.
leave some predictions for us, please?
You asked me.
I know.
Brian, what do you predict, Brian?
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you and talk about death in this
Yeah.
season or in this series, right? So Ryan, don't disagree with you. It'd be interesting because I do think that that's gonna be that flip of the switch that does allow Homelander to go like, you know what? America dies.
Yeah.
Starts killing off
And
everyone,
Billy
right?
Butcher's the one that does it.
Accidentally.
that kills him?
Accidentally,
Yeah.
not on
Okay.
purpose. Accidentally.
I see that.
But I think he sees it as a mercy killing.
Yes.
Of like your mother would hate to see what you become.
Yes. MM doesn't die because he still needs his last fight with Soldier Boy.
True.
Yes.
But if you're going to kill off Frenchie and Kimiko, they need to be together. You cannot leave one
Yeah.
behind because that love story is too connected at this point.
Yeah.
If you're going to kill Kimiko, then Frenchie sacrifices himself. Or if Frenchie dies, Kimiko sacrifices herself. Then you can leave Huey and Annie together in this new world where they essentially have to rebuild everything that was caused by Homelander's destruction.
Okay.
That's the way I see it.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where this next storyline is going to go in. We are kind of like teased the what's her name? The senator, the lady that
What's the next thing they're gonna do?
Yeah.
Is the White House.
That makes
she's
sense.
the VP nominee for
I can totally see
Because that means Vought will take over,
exactly.
and they'll have soups in the army.
Exactly. So
suits in the army,
she's
soups
full on
everywhere.
soups, full on you know to support them
Definitely.
and stuff. So they are leading
That'll
into
probably
that.
be the overarching.
It's the underlining plot line because they're probably going to go after her, but they are going to deal with the bigger fish, which is Homelander and Ryan, basically causing destruction in the background, and that's kind of like
Well, the thing
big
is that
issue.
I feel like the way that they're going to deal with her is to deal with Ryan and Homelander. If we can prove that they're connected to her, or that Vought killed the original vice president, because we know the Deep screwed it up somehow.
Yeah.
Someone
It's
was
like
recording.
something.
Yeah.
The Deep screwed it up somehow, some way.
Especially at a politician's house, there's got to be cameras somewhere.
Yeah,
And they do
somebody
that.
somebody must have
They
screwed
do allude that because in the second to last episode, she gives the senator or whatever, I forget her name, gives a note to Homelander, and then the start of the next episode, the final episode, he arrives at the location where Ryan is hiding.
Yeah.
So they do kind of have that like already kind of planned out that certain things will happen. Right now, we don't necessarily know how the Deep might have screwed up that assassination, but maybe in the next season, on the first episode, they did screw it up.
I also do feel that the Deep is going to be in hot water just because of the book that's coming out.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's going to be a huge thing.
You know what? I'll put another one. I think Homelander is going to kill the Deep in the next season. Like, he's going to have enough of it, of all these screw-ups that he has.
Why not A-Train?
I feel like A-Train hasn't shown yet of what a reasoning to kill him yet. And plus,
he's too loose.
No, but A-Train now he's more useful. Again,
he can actually run.
And while the Deep, because you could tell that Homelander doesn't really believe in his usefulness, just for the time being.
He's never really believed in his usefulness, even when he was like an actual member of the the Seven before the whole Annie thing.
Fair.
But I do see honestly where everything's going. I can see A-Train's storyline kind of getting a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Of like he has no one else. Like he's stuck in this situation.
Yeah.
But I can see him trying to make amends with his brother by joining Butcher and them, because that's kind of where I see the A-Train storyline going, just because he wants to be loved by his brother. He wants to do more for the community, for his people. He wants to be more. He just doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And he keeps making mistakes.
Well, we'll have to wait until maybe another year and a half to make it.
Basically.
Yeah. I also really love the fact that they were able to pop these out pretty quick.
Consistently.
Faster than usual.
Yeah.
So maybe not until next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because wasn't The Boys season 2 a year ago? Like
a year and a half, I think.
something like that. It was because it was during COVID.
Yeah. That's right.
It was like right in the height of COVID.
Let's go ahead and wrap this issue up because we are reaching that 1 hour 30.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us here at Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 105. Again, you guys can catch us on keepingupwiththenerds.com. Find us on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Subscribe. Let us know, guys. We interact with you guys for anything that you guys respond. If you guys want to listen to us on any audio platform, wherever you guys find your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Podbean, leave a review. Let us know what you guys think about it. 5 stars, much appreciated if you guys do. Follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We will post any updates that happen when new issues come out, any new projects, anything to look forward to will be on there. Check out our partners at Our Real Addiction, the movie side of the podcast world here at the Nerds Network. They go ahead and talk about different movies and different things. In the movie world, we talked about James Cameron in this last episode, as well as I think there was some Stranger Things talk on there. I think they'll be discussing Thor, Love and Thunder as well in their next episode, so keep an eye open for that. They are on every available audio platform as well, and soon to be on YouTube on Thursdays. We might talk about a different schedule for them, but we'll see. Are we ready to wrap this up?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Look at the popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
I know. I looked down and I was like, all right, we had a bit for the popcorn bucket.
Yeah. I was waiting.
Yeah.
Sorry. we got really sidetracked. But yes, can you go ahead and showcase?
Is there a string that's supposed to go with this?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't get a string.
Show it to the
string in
camera. Show it
yours?
to the camera.
Yeah.
Show it to the camera. The right side, the right way up, please.
Oh
my God.
That's why I didn't have it that way. That's why I held it like this. Because when I picked it up, it did
face
that.
just dropped. He's like, stop. Now you know what I feel.
It's not my fault. You told me to put it upside down.
It's your fault. Rene, take us out.
Okay. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 105. My name is Rene.
This is Bryan.
Nick.
Signing out from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.